1317 to Paris, which is the latest from Clint Eastwood, who before this made Sully with Tom Cruise. I think, did we interview Tom Cruise for Sully, or did he just have the Sully haircut?
He had the Sully haircut, I think.
He had the Sully haircut, didn't he? Because we interviewed him for the Steven Spielberg film, but he had the Sully haircut.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah. That's what I said, didn't I?
Tom Hanks did. Yeah.
Did I say Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Tom Hanks.
And it's 1517.
And I said 1317. Should we start again?
Yeah, okay. Now, what else have we got to
We've got
talk about?
1517 to Paris, the latest from Clint Eastwood. His previous film was Sully with Tom Hanks.
That's the one. Yeah, got that.
Okay, so this is based on real-life event from a few years ago in which train from Amsterdam to Paris. There was a man on the train who opened fire and was brought down by passengers. Among those who intervened were three Americans, Anthony Sadler, Alex Galatas and Spencer Stone, and there was also a British businessman, I think, called Chris Norman. They were all honoured for their bravery, named as heroes, which they clearly are, because the gunman had huge amounts of weaponry with him, and if he hadn't been subdued, one can't even begin to imagine the consequences. The story from the three Americans' point of view was told in a non-fiction book upon which this is based, with a screenplay by Dorothy Bliscall. Eastwood is known for his sort of no-nonsense direction, and initially the reports of the film were that there was actors that they were talking about for the main roles, and then in July of last year it was announced that the three main characters would be playing themselves.
Wow.
Which is a very bold move. I mean, it's not something that you can think of. You think of naturally. Okay, well, we know they're. Let's get them to play themselves. Anyway, here's a clip.
You guys just want to skip Paris?
Or at least delay it a little bit.
I'm starving.
Maybe it's like you're saying, like life's kind of catapulting you towards something.
Right now, it's catapulting me towards some hangover food.
What would you say?
I don't know, man. It's something I said in Venice. I was caught up in that European high. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah. You should have heard this guy. He was talking about how life is catapulting him towards something like some greater purpose or something like that.
Spencer said that?
I know, deep right.
You still think that?
I mean, I guess, but nothing's actually stopping us. If we weren't meant to be on the train tomorrow, something would physically stop us. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by a greater force.
Okay, Isaac Newton.
I'm telling you, man, he's been deep as hell on this trip. I can't even deal with it.
So it's a really, really unsatisfactory film, which is a shame because, the story is quite an extraordinary one. Essentially, it breaks down into two halves. On the one hand, you get the early lives of the men when they're school kids, becoming friends, dealing with each other, each similarly having sort of isolation issues, and then how they became friends and how their friendship grew. And then, for a very large part of the movie, you get them wandering around on the holiday that they were on when this event took place. And that takes up a very, very large amount of the film, of them wandering around. It's like watching somebody's holiday snapshots. And it's just peculiarly boring and very, very uncinematic. And the problem is nothing to do with the performances. The problem is to do with the fact that the film is not very well made by Clint Eastwood. I spoke afterwards briefly to Peter Bradshaw, who's the critic for The Guardian. He's a brilliant writer. And he was sort of wondering whether there wasn't like an experimental dimension to what was happening, with the casting. I think that's being overly kind. There is absolutely no question that the people who were involved in this were doing something astonishing, and their heroism speaks for itself, and even to be reminded of the story itself is breathtaking. But frankly, it's the kind of area in which what you want is a documentary. What you don't want is a dramatization that simply doesn't work as a piece of filmmaking and leaves you feeling bizarrely disappointed.